Welcome to Dodgers Daily as we bring in Coach Holt. Hey, and Coach Holt is drinking out of his brand new Dodgers coffee cup. Always loyal and true to the mint and blue, no doubt about that, Coach. Got to love it.
They can blue every day. You know how it is, Case. I'm never going to give in. And we're got this cup a few years ago on a fundraiser from a nephew over in Tulsa. So I got me a Dodger cup. I hadn't seen it in a while. I thought it was a good day to pull it out.
All right, man. It's been about a week since, the disappointment of the season ending. We've had time to chew on it. We've slept on it quite a few times, had a chance to kind of get over all the emotions. Where are you at right now with the Dodgers?
Well, I mean, accept it. I already got to the acceptance phase, what happened, and, watching the other teams play, wishing it was our team playing. But, it's, as we know, being baseball coaches, there's a lot of things out of your control that out of Dave Roberts' control, out of everybody's control, things that happen in the game of baseball that leave your head scratching and wondering what happened. And I think that's where the Dodgers brass is at, and probably all of us Dodger fans, same place. But, I'm over it now as far as, let's move on. What are we going to do next year and that type of thing. So the hurt is still there deep down, but we'll get over it. I still got the Dallas Cowboys to break my heart every week. So, that I've got that, but just kind of accept it and move on. That's where we are, and I think that's where the team is, and that's where everybody has to be. Like I said, you and I being baseball coaches, you have to have a short memory in this game, and especially those guys that are getting paid millions of dollars to make these teams, and the players who compete. There's a lot to that. And those guys have a lot of responsibility. That's what they do every day, and they wake up in the morning, they're Dodger baseball, which would be a great job for me and you, by the way.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, I know you just saw the Andrew Friedman press conference the other day. I hit on it on my last show that I did with Andrew Hickman for our podcast on Wednesdays. I know from a leadership perspective, you've been in leadership your entire life. Whenever you give these press conferences, it always leaves it short for the fans because you just can't go into detail. I mean, you can't just unveil the curtain and just tell them everything that's on your mind because you don't want to pin yourself into a situation to where people can then quote you and say, well, you said you were going to do this, but now you're not, that kind of deal. So you want to leave it, you want to be specific enough, but you want to leave a certain amount of vagueness out there to where it leaves you some wiggle room, don't you?
I thought he did a great job in his press conference. I'm very impressed with him and the things he had to say. But, yeah, you don't just come out and lay it all out there for the press. I mean, he gave us more information than a lot of people in that position would without going into too much detail. I thought the guy was outstanding, and I agree with 100% of the things he said, and I thought it was a great press conference, and he answered all the questions. He didn't really shy away from anything except when they asked him about Ohtani. He goes, who's that? That's something he has to do. But I thought he had great answers, and he's like the rest of us. He's scratching his head over, didn't think the offense would go away. We had talked about it. That was my biggest concern going into it. I hope I was wrong, but, there's not easy answers for anything that he's facing. Every morning he walks in with a cup of coffee in his Dodger cup and starts, working on – they're already working on next year, obviously. And I thought Friedman's – press conference was outstanding. That's the first time I'm going to be honest, sit there and watched him a whole lot. But in the position he's in and everybody's got their hurt feelings, he can't afford to be that way. Mm-hmm. You and I know that. We can't, we get our feelings hurt in a tough loss. We got to show up the next day. We got to show leadership with our players. He's the same way. He's leading that organization as far as his position, which is high level in the organization and answering to the owners and stuff. So I think Dodger fans, we all should be very fortunate that we have a guy like Andrew Friedman, who he's not going to stand pat. He's not happy the way it went, but he's certainly a guy who's out there. He's not going to just whatever. He's going after it, and he's going to do what it takes to try to make it happen. I like the fact he said organizational failure. That was the word. He said that means all of us, including myself. As he said, and he said when I asked about Robert's job, if it's one person, that's easy. If there's one person that's a problem, yes, you make a change. He said, but organizational failure means all of us. I think that answers all the questions on Dave Roberts that you ever need to know. He's coming back. He's not the only reason why this thing went south in a big way in October.
I can remember games where maybe a player made an error or two or struck out in a big situation. Coach, and in the post game, it would always be like, yeah, hey, maybe we want to focus on that, but you forgot that we didn't get the bunt down in the third inning. You forgot that we walked the leadoff hitter in the fourth. How about that too? Hey, everybody had a part in the fact that we lost today. So I love the fact that you hit on that.
Yeah, and me and you've said these words to our teams. I know, on both sides of the coin, if a guy gets a hit to win the game at the end, everybody's celebrating. That's the last play of the game.
Yes,
we had success. If a kid makes an error and you lose, it's still just the last play of the game. There's many ways to win and lose a baseball game, starting with the first pitch all the way to the last pitch. And I think that's the beautiful part why we love baseball. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful part of it. There's no guarantee on anything. I used to love Darren Burrows, the pitching coach. Now he's a head coach at Cali County. Yeah. We all loved Lefty. They asked him in the national finals when his dad walks up, a great baseball man. His father was, and well, who's pitching tonight? Well, he told him, "You think he's ready to go?" Dad, I don't know. I'll tell you when he gets. And we're all been that way.
Tell you about the third inning.
How you feeling? Is he ready to go? We'll find out. It's too late. As we say, the hay's in the barn. Yeah. He's starting. I hope he's ready to go. And that's kind of where you are with Kershaw. And actually, all the starting pitchers had a tough time in the playoffs. But I love what Friedman said about Bobby Miller. He said, I had no doubt in my mind he was ready to pitch in October. He didn't pitch well, but I would count on him. I agree with him. Miller was ready. It just didn't work out well for him. It's not the first guy to ever do that. He won't be the last, but he's also talented enough to come out and throw a 2-hitter next October, too, and then we'll be singing his praises. So, yeah,
I thought that was great leadership. I hit on that. When you have a young man and he's giving you all he's got and he's super competitive and ultra talented, I thought coming out and, hey, let's address it. He didn't pitch well. We can't just come out and say everything was okay with the way he pitched, because it wasn't. We're not going to say that, but what we are going to say is, hey, this is an organization that's always moving forward past failures, and the next time out, I'm betting that he's going to do very, very well. I thought that was just tremendous leadership. Okay, so moving on from that, Coach, let's say that you are Andrew Friedman. You have been the guy that's had to make decisions for big organizations. So if you're Andrew Friedman, where do you go from here? How do you fill out your roster? What are the things that you address?
I think you have to look at, who are we going to lose? I wrote down all the free agents the Dodgers have, who are we going to lose? And who's out there, that type of thing. I guess you got to look at it from both standpoints. Who are we going to, keep here with us, and who's out there that's available. The Dodgers' money's not going to be a big problem for them ever, in the history of the game. But
they've got quite a bit freed up this year too.
Yes, they got a bunch freed up, but you got to piece your team together. You have to. I mean, so. Ohtani's the big one out there. Nobody,
I've changed on him, by the way. I've said yes, but I'm off of him now just because he can't pitch next year.
I just started to say, if he's not if he's a pitcher / bomb hitter, great hitter, he's worth this amount of money. He's worth an ungodly amount. If he's just a hitter, he's still worth a lot of money. But I'm with you on that case. If he's not the ultimate two-way guy, which he was, if he's not the ultimate two-way guy, is it DH? You get rid of you letting Hayward. JD Martinez go.
Or Muncy.
Or Muncy. There's a lot of things going on there. So I'm like you.
And Will Smith can't catch a break. Because you want to use Will Smith in that DH spot a little bit more as he wears down. We saw that this year.
Rest his legs a little bit. I don't know that you can ever. You just go sell the farm for Ohtani. I'm like you. I don't think I'm ready to do that. I think there's the Dodgers. That's me. That's just my opinion. Would I love to see him in Dodgers blue? Yeah, but if he's not able to pitch, yes, he's still a great hitter. But major league pitchers can also pitch around him a little bit too. Mm-hmm. The more he's there, they'll find some things that can do it. I know he would be great for the Dodgers, but I don't know. It's like back when Trout was at his height. There was always rumors. They might get Mike Trout. And I was kind of the same way there. Like, I don't know. I don't know if we want to sell the farm, when we got some kids in Tulsa, let's try to slide them a little bit of money and they get it. I don't know. I'm not in charge of the purse strings. Magic Johnson, all those billionaires can do that stuff. But I'm kind of with you on that. I'm not just like, we got to have Ohtani. I was more last year, Rex and I sitting in Kansas City watching Dodgers. Man, we got to keep Trey Turner. If we're not going to do that, we got to go after Dansby Swanson. We didn't do either one. Unfortunately, the old Lux tears his ACL. So that looked bad, but they decided to go with Gavinlux. I don't have any arguments there. We love Trey Turner. We certainly would have loved seeing Dansby Swanson in Dodger blue, but it didn't turn out that way. So I was more, pumped about, more excited, trying to keep Trey Turner, which it wasn't my decision, but as a fan, than I am about let's go get Ohtani. So I'm with you on that. I don't think just going to get Ohtani, nobody else is going to fix our thing. I mean, I know they missed on some things, and they got a lot of things, as he mentioned there. They've got still got some position players situations they got to work on. They feel good about the pitching. Obviously if Buehler comes back and healthy and the rest of those guys come back healthy, there's still a lot of question marks there. I mean, they know. They're in touch with the doctors, the trainers, the rehab people on these guys' progress. They're going to know before they start making decisions. But there's a lot to be done in their situation. They got a lot of ifs. Lot of ifs. Is Buehler going to be? What's he going to be? Is he going to get back? Is he going to be good? I mean, there's a lot of things. Kershaw, like you mentioned, is Kershaw coming back? Is he going to retire? I even read a deal on there. Somebody said, "Oh,
what do you think there?
To Texas Rangers. He's going to go to Texas Rangers with DeGrom and Scherzer because that's where he's from. That's where he grew up in Plano." I don't know. That was from a fan like us.
I could see that honestly.
No, I could too.
That wouldn't totally shock me, I should say.
He gets back to Texas, gets where he was raised, and kind of wraps up his career there with the Rangers, which is a great organization. So, I could see that also. I could see him retiring too. He's a Hall of Fame pitcher. He don't have to answer to anybody else. He don't have anything else to prove to anybody. Forget the October stuff. He's not the first guy that's happened to. He's a Hall of Fame pitcher. So, he's not that he wants to rest on his laurels, but he could and go move on with his beautiful family and ride off in the sunset. I could see that too, and I love the guy. Regardless of how he pitched, I'm all in on Clayton Kershaw, always have been, and I know you are too. And so is Rex and all my brothers, the Dodger fans. We love the guy. So, of course, we loved Andrew Heaney. We had just because we got a personal connection with him, the Oklahoma kid. But, that's stuff that goes on. So I would see maybe leaning towards retirement. I don't know the guy. I don't know the guy personally. I know he's a bulldog, and I know he's a great competitor. He wouldn't be where he's at or had the success he had. I don't know to have any input on that, but I wouldn't be shocked if he retired. I wouldn't be shocked if he signed with the Rangers. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't be shocked if he signed with the Dodgers. Yeah. Like, hey, I want to stay with the same organization forever. There's a lot to be said for that too.
There's so many different layers to the Clayton Kershaw decision. Hey, first of all, do I just want to retire to begin with? Again, do I want to move on to maybe the Rangers and go back home for my last year or so? Do I want to stay with the Dodgers? And then, all of that's depending on the type of role that's going to be asked out of me. You would think that if the Rangers take on a contract like him, they're going to expect him to be a full-time starter. They're going to expect him to be healthy. And here's the thing about him. They're going to expect him to be Clayton Kershaw. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Whereas I think if he stays with the Dodgers fans have a very intricate understanding of who Clayton Kershaw is right now, exactly what he can give the club. So if the role is, say, just a little bit diminished, I don't think that diminishes how the Dodgers fans view his contribution to the club, whereas I think Rangers fans might.
I agree, and he's, this stage of his career, he's a 4 or 5 inning guy. And the way the Dodgers bullpen performed in the playoffs, which was the strength by far of their in the playoffs, and like Friedman said, we're always looking for quality pitching. So yes, the bullpen was great, but we're also always going to go get quality pitch and make it better. So he's going to be a 4 or 5 inning guy. You're not going to expect him to go out and go 7. Not that he couldn't on occasions, but that's the way baseball has changed. Get 5 innings out of Clayton Kershaw every start would be great, because you got the bullpen, you got the big arms out there to kind of finish it up. But that would be a diminished role. Obviously you want your starters going deeper than 5 every time, but you're right on that. I mean, that's where he is in his career. But the Rangers get him, like you said, they're going to. And where's he fit in down there?
Yeah.
They got John Gray back. All of a sudden Heaney's out. He's a 5th starter. Of course, he ended up having to start yesterday for him, but he wasn't in the 4-man rotation once Gray got back and Scherzer got back. So there's a lot. It'd be the same thing there if those guys stay there. You know, who you knock out of the 4-man rotation? You know, does Heaney become number 6 guy? He's a quality pitcher.
All right.
Does he want to leave? I don't know. You know, there's a lot. I don't care what the Rangers do. I mean, don't screw with Heaney. We love Heaney. I even like John Gray. You know, he went to OU.
I like Seager too.
Yeah, he's a Oklahoma kid, Chandler, Oklahoma. John Gray.
Yeah,
I love Seager. Love Seager. Always will. He's always going to be a Dodger to us. So, but there's a lot, like you said, a lot of layers to this whole thing, and that tells Andrew Friedman what he's going to be able to do. He don't have an easy job. I would love to work for the Dodgers. I know you would too, but there's pressure to win. You know, if you don't win the World Series, you're a failure, and he gets it. Everybody gets it. But there's a lot of things he's got to consider, especially all these injuries, all these pitchers. Who you getting back? Who's not going to be get back? They're not going to be the same. You got to move on. You know, you got to look at starting pitching. But I do like what Friedman said. Like I just said, he's always going to look for quality pitching. They're not going to stand pat. So,
I think the one thing that I did get out, you got whenever you're listening to people talk at press conferences, if you don't get out of it what you wanted, that's the press corps' fault, because the person talking is going to intentionally be as vague as they possibly can, because if you've ever been in a leadership position, you can't pin yourself into a corner. I can't stress that enough. The more detail you give, you know, if you say this, then you have to do that. Otherwise, you know, in today's day and age, you're just going to get crucified for you know, going back on your word. So you try to be specific enough, but vague, you know, as vague as you possibly can.
Yep.
So if you don't like the specifics that came out of Andrew Friedman's press conference, that's the press corps' fault. That is, you know, you've been in the press almost your entire life, Coach. Kind of interesting. You've been in the press and in the coaching industry. Your brother just got inducted into the Stillwater, I'm going to call it the Stillwater Pioneer Hall of Fame. Let's call it that, the memorial. And then Rex Holt obviously is a Hall of Fame broadcaster. So your family is super, super, you know, familiar with high level on the press side of things, and then also the broadcasting side of things, and then also the coaching. So when you're in that situation, you know, what I'm trying to convey to Dodgers fans is, don't be frustrated with Andrew Friedman. He did exactly as he was supposed to do. That is exactly how a leader is supposed to stand up and address failure. He handled it. He didn't let Brandongomes talk very much. He controlled the entire narrative. He put it squarely on his shoulders. He made it very clear that his manager was coming back. He explained why. He actually mentioned names. He actually mentioned Mookie Betts. He actually mentioned freddiefreeman. He actually mentioned Bobby Miller. He also then pivoted to, hey, okay, well, that's already happened. So what do we think is going to happen in the future? The only thing that matters at this point is what happens in the future. He told you that he was going to be aggressive over the offseason. He did everything he was supposed to do. It frustrates me that people can't see that from my perspective, and that also that if they were left feeling a little bit vague, like, oh, well, same-o, that is the press corps' fault.
No, I agree. And you've been a coaching and also in the media now. What you've been doing in your position as well, you know, with the media stuff. So you can't just come out there. I thought he was a master of it. You know? And I love the Oklahoma City Thunder because I'm right here down the street, and Sam Presti's a great general manager. He's the master of vague. He's highly intelligent, but you almost listen to her 30 minutes and you know nothing, which is okay. I'm just a fan.
He can't come out and say we're going to sign Ohtani. He can't go and come out and say, yeah, we're going to get Blakesnell. I mean,
you can't do that. And you know that. This doesn't say some parent meetings me and you've had with parents who are upset because their kids aren't getting to play. You have them in your office and whatever, and you without just coming out and saying, your kid's not any good, or this guy's better than your kid. I never went there. You know, I tried to spin it in a positive, like, here's what maybe he needs to work on, you know. And if they bring up somebody else, I go, well, we're not going to talk about him because his parents isn't here.
Correct.
So, you know, we'll talk about your kid with you. So it's kind of the same thing that we've gone, you know, it's not a press conference, but it is some being as vague as possible without just saying, no, your kid sucks. You know? And you don't ever want to say that.
Right.
And the same thing here. You know, you'll never hear Andrew Friedman come out, oh, Kershaw sucked. Roberts is terrible. You know, what the fans are saying. First thing they want to do is get rid of Roberts, you know. Start getting rid of everybody. And we were all.
That's fine.
That's fine. That's fans. Me and your fans.
Hey, there has been failure.
Nothing wrong
It
with
is
that.
great that everybody's frustrated. It's great everybody has opinion. It's matter of fact, it's great everybody's pissed off.
You darn right it is. And everybody's held accountable. Andrew Friedman is accountable. He said it more than one occasion. It's a failure of all of us. I take full responsibility.
Yeah.
He at some point, it's not now, because like he said, which we mentioned several times on this thing, they had their regular season was amazing.
Yeah.
Considered, and he even said it, which me and you talked about. Most teams that lose their entire starting rotation don't even get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Not only do we get in the playoffs, we won by 14, 15 games. That's an amazing accomplishment, what they were dealt with. That tells you the quality of this organization and the coaches and, like you said, the scouting staff that gives us the opportunity to have these guys in Tulsa, Oklahoma City.
It also meant they were gritty. It also meant they could deal with adversity.
Yes.
That's another one that, hey, they couldn't handle this. They couldn't come back from that. They showed it all year. It's baseball. You can't control that. There's certain elements you can't control when you get in the middle of it. Gary Ward, who was in the College World Series finals, 5 or 6 times? He built that dynasty at Oklahoma State. He will tell you that if 98% of your job or 99% of your job isn't already done when the first pitch is thrown as a manager, then you haven't done your job. Yep. Once they throw the first pitch, very little as far as what actually happens in a game is controlled by the manager.
Absolutely. Like you said, Gary Ward said, the work is done way before you get there.
You got to put the hay in the barn.
Yep. Hay's in the barn. Are you ready to go? I hope so. We've done it. And me and you've been there. I know
I'll tell you in the third inning.
We screw up a bunt coverage. I always look at the assistant coaches and goes, it looks like if I'm sitting in the stands, I'm going to say, do they ever work on bunt coverage?
Oh, yeah.
The reality was we did it every day at the start of practice.
Yeah.
We did bunts, first, as bunts, first and thirds, double cuts. That's what we did every day.
And Smalley pop-ups.
And Smalley pop-ups, with black baseballs and terrible lights.
And black baseballs and no lights whatsoever.
I'd always say, Smalley,
at 10 o'clock at night.
Get the worst baseballs you can out of the bucket, and he would. And it's just that's what the beauty of the game, and we all love it. And it's never ending.
It is.
In Andrew Friedman's world, Andrew Friedman's world, when he walks into his coffee, it's what are we going to do to get better next year? And even Dave Roberts, hopefully he goes to the beach somewhere and chills out for a little bit and gets the stress off. I'm sure he does. But, everybody's already working on next year, and that's what it should be. And us fans can just get all, what are we going to do? We get impatient. Yeah. They can't be.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so. You want fans to be like that. Those are the kind of fans you want. Yep. They hold you accountable. You can say it as much as you want as, hey, it's just noise. It's fans. Hey, it's the bull. The fans hold you accountable, man. When the fans are pissed, that motivates you. Hey, I got to do something. I got to fix this. That's the way you want your fans.
Yeah.
When Dodgers fans get pissed like they are now, they're not accepting of losing four times out of the last 5 years and all of the regular length seasons. When Dodgers fans don't accept that makes a difference with Andrew Friedman. That makes a difference with Dave Roberts. That makes them realize, hey, we can't sit on their laurels.
You can't do it. They get paid a lot of money not to do that. And like I said, this is professional baseball. Mm-hmm. This is the highest level of baseball in the world. No, bar none, and they can't sit back on what laurels. Like you said, we didn't win the World Series. It was a failure. It was an organizational failure. I love that term because it's true. Yes. Whether it's the L.A. Dodgers, whether it's Casey Porter and the Guthrie Blue Jays, or Tony Holt and Stillwater Pioneers, it's an organizational failure. It'd be easy if it just had to get rid of one person. Yes,
that's exactly right.
That's easy. He's totally spot on that. Yeah. If you look around and go, well, everybody's doing a great job except that guy, we'll get rid of him. And that's what you do. I had to do that as a principal sometimes. Yeah.
There are cancers out there.
Yes, and you just do it the best way you can, but there's something got to change. At some point. But like he said, and me and you have said several occasions, change isn't always good. Mm-hmm. Sometimes change is bad. So you got to be very careful where you go with that. You better have your plan B. Better be something you feel pretty sure about, or because we've all seen the plan Bs blow up in your face. Then everybody's really wanting to hang you then. Yeah, they really want to hang you by the flagpole when that happens. So
I tell you another thing that just it frustrates me to no end. and I've been in God knows how many dugouts, Coach, both as well, hell, I've been on, as an umpire on the field or as, a broadcaster or certainly a coach and a player. You way more than me. And, you were one of my gigantic mentors in life. And one of the things that really frustrates me, in football, when things aren't going your way, you get the iPad out, you look at the structures of the plays that are happening. Hey, what's the defense doing to us? Who's not blocking? You make a few adjustments. Maybe you go to another set of concepts or plays, and you figure out, hey, this is what the defense is doing. This is how we beat it. In basketball, maybe you control the tempo. Hey, let's speed it up. Hey, maybe let's slow it down. Hey, let's work the ball inside. Hey, let's drive the ball to the bucket. Try to get to the free throw line. There are just really, really, really specific, and you've coached a lot of foot. This is great for you, Coach, because you've coached a lot of football, you've coached a lot of basketball, you've coached even more baseball. As well as anybody. In football and basketball, as a coach during the game, you can specifically control how to change the game when it's not going your way. In baseball, there's nothing you can do sitting in, now you can, hey, we're all right. Hey, you can try to create some artificial energy and all that. But when a guy's not hitting a ball and he's in a slump and that ball looks like it's about the size of an aspirin coming up to him, and he quite frankly is not sure if he's ever going to get hit again, there's nothing you can do as a manager in the middle of a game to change that. There was nothing Dave Roberts could have done when they went down 6-0 to make Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman start hitting the ball. Nothing he could have done.
No, and you mentioned Gary Ward earlier. We were in Bartlesville. I'll never forget it. I'd made a 23-year-old inexperienced coaching move of some sort that blew up in my face. I walked over and Gary never said a word. Him and his lovely
You're like, oh, damn, this is Gary Ward. Oh, my God.
His Panama hat watching his kid play. He never said a word. I walked up to him and said, Coach, I can't – that blew up in my face. And he said, I'll never forget it. He looked me in the eye and said, as a parent, Tony, I just appreciate the fact that you got the guts and the heart to make a decision and stick to it. He said, in the baseball, they either blow up in your face or you look like a genius. And that was what a 23-year-old idiot, me, needed to hear from a legendary coach. I had to learn myself the hard way, and it makes total sense.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody says, oh, that coach, he's not even trying to win. That is total BS. He may not know how to win. He may be a terrible coach, but don't tell me he's not out there trying to win the game.
Coach Chapman had a parent actually accuse him of only working with the one hitter that was hitting 400, that he didn't work with anybody else.
Didn't work with
he
anybody
actually
else.
Had a parent tell that. It's like, come on, man. I mean, you think Dave Roberts doesn't want Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts to go up there and hit? You don't think that Dave Roberts would rather be playing right now? You don't think Dave Roberts would rather go to the beach and get the R&R that you're talking about after winning a World Series? You think Andrew Friedman enjoyed doing that press conference? I mean, come on.
It's like, they say, what's the old saying? You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah.
No one-man teams do anything. It's like, right.
Mookie so the Dodgers rely on Mookie and Freddie too much. Point blank.
That's what I'm saying. Mookie and Freddie didn't hit, and that's the big story. Oh, the Stars didn't hit. Okay, we need somebody else to hit then. We need somebody else.
I think you need an offensive philosophy that is more balanced, that creates a situation to where other guys do hit more consistently. That's my opinion.
And I've always disliked the Astros for a lot of reasons. Like I said, I love Dusty Baker and some of their whatever, but they move the baseball around. Yeah, you'll hear, Altuve will hit some home runs, but he hits a lot of doubles, hit a lot of singles. They move runners a lot. They do a good job of moving runners. So, like I said, lock them or not, beating the trash can over there, whatever the heck they're doing, whatever they're doing now. But the 5 days off didn't hurt those guys, and I hate saying it because I want the Rangers to beat them because I'm a Ranger fan, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Like I said, I used to hate the Giants because by birth rate, we're supposed to hate the Giants. Being Dodgers fans, always loved Bruce Bochy.
Yep.
And some of their players.
That's a tough dynamic.
For. Yeah, I always loved – and look at him now. I mean, he's just that guy. He's a guy – he's a great manager, won 3 world titles over there. And so there's – you just got to give respect and credit where credit is due, and you got to move on, and you got to just take care of your own house, man. I mean – You can't get too caught up in, let's change everything. You don't need to change everything. You need to change the outcome. And they're all shocked, like Friedman said. How do we, we wanted to win 11 games in October and we won 0. Perfectly put.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want him to say? Yeah, I kind of thought we were going to suck coming into the playoffs. I was telling the guys, hey, we're not very good, and we have all these holes, and I just don't think we're going to have success in the playoff. I mean, is that what he's supposed to say, or is that the message you want to hear from your guy who runs your operations of baseball? That was his mentality going into the playoffs. I mean, do you want to hear that, or do you want to hear a guy say, hey, we thought, hey, we did everything we could to put ourselves in position to be the best team. I think the regular season coming into that showed that we had done everything to be the best team we could, and we had all the confidence in the world that we were going to go in there and kick ass. What message? Yeah. Which message do you want to hear from your leader?
There are no moral victories in their world, but we cannot minimize what they did in the regular season. I know they don't hand out trophies in the regular season. You've heard me say it several times.
Certainly when you're evaluating job performance.
Yeah. But if you're looking, you got to go the whole body of work, not just the 3 games in October that sucked royally. You got to look at the whole body of work. Dave Roberts probably manager of the year just because in my opinion, what he did. He won't get it, but he won't get it, but that's fine. But Friedman said it best. How many people they lose their whole starting rotation? They don't get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's a testament to the organization, the people in charge, from him down to Dave Robertson's coaching staff. So we can't just get all butthurt over the 3 games in October and forget about the other, what they did.
In terms of moving forward, certainly.
Yeah. And I like what he says. We want to win the division every year and get those 5 days off. We're not getting – he said –
he was very clear on that.
Then we work on what's best during that time, because, again, the Astros has proven that, they might have – they won a series right out of it, and now they got down. Here they come again. Yeah. So that can't be the stand pan answer. Well, the Dodgers and the Braves were out because they had 5 days off. No, they were out because they didn't play well. Yeah. Again, nobody dominates this game. Yeah. No matter who you are, what you think you are, kid gets in a slump. I love you. We'll just get in the cage and we'll work. I don't know what else to tell you.
No doubt. I just think, the worst thing that the Dodgers could do, or any time that you have a failure, the worst thing you can do is just make overhaul changes. It's kind of like where you crash is you're going off the road to the right a little bit, and then you overcompensate, and where you actually crash is you go into the other lane, you end up in the other ditch because you The way that you actually get back on the road is you just subtly try to change your steering wheel just subtly enough to where you don't lose control of the car, to where you can eventually get back into your lane and not cross back over on the other side. I think that's the position the Dodgers are in right now. No overhauls. Don't end up in the other side ditch, right? Just, hey, get that steering wheel just slightly turning. Maybe it's one pitcher here or a position player there, maybe an offensive philosophy change here or there to a couple of guys in your lineup, and go from that perspective. Not an overhaul perspective, just a slight tweak perspective. I do think they need to go get a number 1 starter, though.
Yeah, overcorrection. I was a driver's ed teacher on the highway patrolman. That was their term. It's exactly what you just said. Overcorrection is where they see most of the accidents. It gets worse when you do that. Yes. No, I totally agree. But if you can if you can get a number 1 starter, and Friedman said as much. We're always looking for quality pitching. We feel pretty good about the offense. There's some positions we got to, there's position player situations we've got to change, maybe fix something, tweak it here and there. Said, but pitching never goes away. Mm-hmm. He's totally right. He said, we're always going to look for quality pitchers. If they can get a chance to get a top line number 1, go for it. God, is blakesnell available? I love that guy.
For 10 years, I'm sure.
Yeah, something like that. But you get a guy at top door, you got to go get him. I agree with you there. Because there's still the unknowns. I certainly don't know.
I don't think you can rely with the way that this season ended, the way the last 4 have ended, where you haven't won the playoffs. I just don't think you can rely on uncertainties. Yes, we think Bobby Miller can be a number 1. Yes, we love Ryan Pepio. Yes, we love Emmett Shin. Yes, I love Nick Frasso. Yes, I love Landon Knack. Yes, I love Kyle Hurt. Yes, I love River Ryan, Ben Kasparius. I love all these guys. I think they're all tremendous pitchers. I just don't think at this moment in time the Dodgers can rely on the unknown like they have been maybe in the past, because, Clayton Kershaw, uncertainty. Walker Buehler, uncertainty. Tony Gonsolin, uncertainty. So when you look at those situations, I think the Dodgers are in a position where they need something that, at least from past performances, shows certainty at the top of the line of the rotation.
No, I think you have to, and I think Friedman even mentioned that, and I totally agree with him. You know, you can't, you don't. It's not going to rebuild. He didn't use that word. Nobody wants to hear that word. You know, we're fortunate enough to stay successful. You have to work the young guys in.
Yes, I love that. I love that part of it. Yes.
Yeah, and still have success. We can work those guys in. Like I said, we're not going to bring a bunch of them in at once and just overhaul, and we're going to bring them all up. Because he said not every top level AAA, AA player has success when they get to the major leagues. So we've even seen that. Miller struggled a little bit, when he first came up, throwing strikes. He even struggled some in Tulsa. I saw myself. 100 miles an hour, balls everywhere. That guy's is slowly, he has matured, gotten better. They were able to work him in, again with Pepio. I mean, those guys, they're not going to have to make an overhaul, but they got guys behind them too that they feel confident about at some point. So that's a great philosophy to work the young guys in. We're not ever going to be in rebuilding mode. Work the young guys in with what we have currently and to continue to have success. And that's the way the Dodgers have been doing it. I totally believe they'll do the same way. They get a top line pitcher, they'll throw the money out there and go get him. And, I was looking at their free agent list. You're going to lose a lot of those guys. Obviously, Urias is somewhere. He don't need to be there, but whatever. I don't want to get into that. But, a good chance. Kershaw, I'd love for him to resign, but Lancelynn, I don't know if he'll be back or not. Who knows on that? And
JD.
I hope we keep Joe Kelly. I know he can do that too. So I would see him maybe since they went back and got him. I know they think highly of him, so hopefully we can keep him around. But he's got to do what's best for him. That's the other part. These guys got to do.
I think health through a full season would be Andrew Friedman's concern about him.
Yes, absolutely, and that's there we go again. There's a lot of variables.
Creates even more uncertainty. Yeah,
absolutely. There's a lot of layers to all this stuff they're doing. That's why his job is so tough. But it goes the same thing. There's so many uncertainties. You don't know. You're not a surgeon. You're not the guy rehabbing. I'm sure they're getting reports every day on these guys and where they are, their status, and when they start actually throwing again, you'll get a little bit better feel for it. I know some of them already have, but there's just uncertainty over there. And again, that's why nobody dominates this thing. And you just try to make. But if you look at the Dodgers, that was terrible. But there's not. You don't have to overhaul this team.
Yeah,
you need some help. Like I agree with you. Probably number one pitcher, a top line pitcher is probably the top of it. And that's easy to say when you look at they got smoked in the 3-game series, in the 3 games, but that's not the only reason. We go back to the whole regular season. They did a lot of things over.
But if you have that frontline starter, he goes out and throws 6 zeros in game 1, and then that gives the Dodgers offense time to kind of catch up and wake up a little bit and get over the break, and now they have a 2-0 lead in the 6th instead of down 6-0 in the first. That makes a huge difference.
Like you said, ask about getting momentum, and I thought it's great that he said offense creates momentum. He said scoring 6 runs in the first is great momentum. Everybody kind of laughed. It's true.
Yeah.
Getting that. If you get 6 in the first, there's your momentum. You don't need anything else.
Well, you've been in the dugout. What do you tell your kids? Hey, we're okay. And they're all looking at you going, yeah, bullshit, coach.
Yeah.
Right?
You're like, or you look up at 6-0. I always said, we can't win with 0 anyway.
What do you say to Kershaw? Hey, you're all right, bub. We're good. Hey, it's the playoffs. No problem. Is that what you say to him? I mean, he's going to look at you like, what are you talking about? This is, what do you say?
Throw his glove. He may throw his glove at you. Get the hell away from me. You don't need to hear that. And there's really not much.
So what do you say as a manager right there? Hey, we're okay, guys. Keep scratching. They're all looking at you like, okay.
Well, their level is a professional level. He had to be pulled out in 2/3 of an inning. It's a no-brainer. It's a regular season. I'm probably going to let you go a little bit because I've got a pitching plan. But I'm playing a short series.
Which is why leaving Lancelynn that's still I can't defend Dave on that. I can't defend.
I got you.
Hey, I just can't.
Especially when he's already the leader in the league, entire major league's probably giving up home runs. So it's like, it's not going. And you're sitting on 0. Same thing. I used to always tell our kids we can't win with 0 anyway. Yeah, they scored.
Got to score 1.
If we're sitting on 0, we're going to lose anyway, whether it's 1-0 or 8-0. So we've got to just chip away. We got to chip away and score some runs. You can't get it all at once. You don't have an 8-run homer. All of us guys have used the same words. I don't need an 8-run homer. There's no such thing. Give me some hits, put some hits together, or cut it in half.
And what I'm trying to say is when it's 6-0, the buy-in factor, I don't care how good of a motivational speaker you are. I don't care how much the players love you. I don't care how much they follow you. The buy-in factor when you've just given up 6 runs in the top of the first, it's not there.
It's not there. It goes back to momentum. Who's got it? Those guys, because they just scored 6. The momentum is in that dugout, and it's probably going to stay there.
Yeah.
On that level. It'll be hard to overcome that in the major leagues.
So the odds of overcoming a 6-0 lead like that in the major leagues, when you're facing in the playoffs when they're going to throw their next best pitcher they have available that day, the odds of overcoming that are probably less than 5%. Okay, those guys are professionals. They all know that. There's nothing as a manager you can walk up to them and say that's going to change their mind on that. They all know they're totally screwed unless something just goes out of the ordinary and they get hot and, hey, the players know you're screwed. This game is screwed.
Yeah, there's nothing a manager can say there. Players can talk to each other. He may have.
Now, what they can do is keep fighting and build momentum for the next game.
Yeah,
I think that's where I was most disappointed.
Yeah. Just like, okay, this one, we're going to chalk this one up. What do we got to do to get ready for tomorrow? No, I totally agree. And the players feed off each other more so than they do the manager. They need each other.
Agree.
One of their guys they hang out with all the time or with.
If you're good, they do.
Yeah, got leadership, and we've already established Dodgers had great leadership, or they wouldn't have been able to do what they did. It wasn't just Dave getting them through that when they lost all their starters. There was a great leadership. They had a good clubhouse. They wouldn't have been able to do that. But so if anybody, going to pump up another guy, it's probably going to be another player. They don't need the manager going up down the dugout and giving them the old rah-rah.
Doesn't work anyways.
Knute Rockne's speech, it's not going to work anyway, like you said. But they're professionals. They don't need to hear it. And then they don't believe it, They know we're in trouble. We're in trouble. It's 6-0. We're in deep trouble. What do we get? Let's get some good hacks and get ready for tomorrow.
So if a manager, I walk up and down the dugout and I say, hey, we're all right, guys. We're going to come back. We got it, man. We're going to be okay. We're going to keep going at this. We're going to win this game, right? Okay. And so now the player, they're all kind of going, okay, yeah, right. Well, we have like a 2% chance of winning this game, right? Yeah. So next time, whenever I actually do want to give that message in a situation to where I do think we're going to come back and win, now you've kind of thrown your bullets out there and it's kind of that cry wolf type thing.
Yeah, they're not going to buy it. If you were doing it then, not all you can say there is just turn around. Hey, just keep plugging away.
Guys, all I know is to tell you is all we can do is keep playing.
Yeah, just keep plugging away.
I can't tell you what's going to happen. Okay, the odds. Just keep playing. We're professionals.
Just keep playing, keep plugging away. That's all you can really say. Hey, let's go. Let's keep fighting. Just keep plugging away. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to win the game. Hey, we can come back and win. Ooh, we can do it. They don't want to hear it. But they can keep plugging away.
Yeah.
They can do that, and they will do that. If they're true professionals, they're going to do that. They're not going to back off. So
we've had a great conversation. I've taken up way too much of your time here today, Coach Holt. This has been fantastic for me. I always love getting to pick your brain. And quite frankly, you are absolutely therapeutic for me because I get to cuss and discuss all of my frustrations, and you tend to know me well enough to kind of deal with all the bad parts and smooth it over to get to the good parts. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate you joining today, Coach.
Well, you know me pretty well, too, to get through the bad parts and good parts. And
I hope we didn't ramble on too long for Dodgers fans today.
Nah, well, they can always turn us off.
They sure can. We're having a hell of a good time, though.
They can always turn it off and do something else. They gonna know one thing, though, Casey. We love our Dodgers.
We love our Dodgers.
That's not ever going to change.
We love baseball.
And we love baseball. We're all together. And hey, I love you too. So it's good to see you.
Okay, Coach. Love you too. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you next time.
All right. Thanks, Case.